Bowes car at the moment, and the Dunlop chute car is just moving around. I know that the Dunlop runners have sort of gone for a very marginal tyre compound mix, and you know, hopefully it's going to be right.
Could pay the price later on in the evening. It's interesting looking at these times too. Both Gardner and Crompton slipping up into the 63, 64 second bracket with everyone else running in the twos. Those tyres could be giving them trouble already. So 8 laps down as they cross the start-finish line this time around. Bauer coming under pressure from Craig Lowndes. He's really making up some territory on the reigning champ. Brock still in control, 2.1 the gap that time around, so it hasn't grown. Wayne Gardner back in 4th, Seaton in 5th. Boy, it's close and tight stuff at the front here. Lowndes tries to find his way through.
You get the feeling Craig Lowndes has been eyeing off exactly what John Bauer's been doing in that sharp left-hand corner. And Lowndes just playing and experimenting. Not a good start to the year for Mark Larkham in the Mitre 10 car. Do they sell barbecues at Mitre 10? Because we've got one under the Larkham car.
Well, he may well have run over a curb there. All that smoke coming out in the missing front spoiler section, Brad, he may have run over one of these shark teeth curbs.
I'd say probably dumped a little bit of oil on the circuit and has just slidden off across a curb or over something and damaged the front of the car. It's a pity. They put a lot of work into the Mitre 10 car, hoping for a much improved year this year, and it's not the way they wanted to start, I'm sure.
Craig Lowndes currently the fastest man on the circuit. He's just done a 62 dead. As he looks down the outside of Bauer, this time Bauer moves across to cover his territory. He's a good defensive driver, isn't he?
Well, I'd say Craig is just learning why John Bauer is the current champion and how hard he is to pass. JB is known as the hardest bloke in the business to get around, and Craig's probably just experiencing that firsthand.
And with Brock, that's Brock.
That's Brock's come off at turn 2. We didn't. Goodness me, a big cloud of dust. Brock seemed to be running on his own. There may have been a lap car involved there, Brad, but it doesn't look like it.
I was just about to say, Brock, you know, looked to have everything so well under control. He was having a glance once or twice a lap, so he had a nice buffer. But he's obviously just gone in just a little bit too deep there. It's a very tricky corner, and off he's gone.
Peter Brock back to 5th as we have a look exactly what happened. And it even happens to the master on occasions.
Could he even lock the brake or got off on the marbles there a bit?
Without going through the whole thing again, it looks like he's come in there, locked the front brake a little bit, and he's just had to get off it, and it's spun.
OK, here's his teammate, Craig Lowndes. The grandstand get to their feet as Lowndes now hones in on 2nd position. He's got the leader in his sights, right up behind the shell number 1.
Fastest man on the track is up into 4th. The name Seaton in the forward is closed right in on Wayne Gardner. So 2 fantastic battles again. 2 completely different cornering strategies.
Fabulous run from Craig Lowndes. Indeed, Andy. His opening round of the Touring Car Championship.
Johnson into the pits.
Oh, wretched luck for Dick Johnson. Not a good start to the season.
Straight into the garage, not a good sign.
So Lowndes all over the bumper of car 1. Now, Brad, I know how hot it is when you're running in behind another car in front. How would his temperatures be under control at the moment if he sits in behind that close?
But no, I think they'd be fine.
OK, let's look at the way they're running at the moment. Bauer, of course, in control with Lowndes right behind him. Wayne Gardner back in 3rd position. Seaton moving up to 4th. And Peter Brock back in 5th position. We'll be back with you in just a moment. But coming under enormous pressure here from Craig Lowndes, and Seaton's getting a first-class view, Brad Jones.
He is, but I'll tell you, I think Glenn's got a little bit of a problem here. You notice he's ducking to the opposite side of the road as that Glenn is on going down the straight, so he could be having temperature problems, and that being the case, when he gets a little closer here, he's going to have to get past them quickly, or he could end up boiling his engine.
We'll talk about getting closer. Look how close he is onto the back of the Mobile Commodore.
We've seen that with Glenn Seaton, in fact, last year here, and at the Triple Challenge, as well as Bathurst. So maybe it's a regular occurrence on the Seaton car, but I can assure you of one thing, Glenn Seaton's not aiming to sit behind these 2 for very long.
Well, Glenn's been working very hard on his engine development over the break. He's confident he had that all cured and had a little bit more horsepower, but as Bradley Jones observed there, ducking out of the slipstream, maybe having some engine temperature problems, and it is incredibly hot here this afternoon.
This will also put a bit more pressure on Craig. He's not only got to try and find a way around John Bauer, he's got to stop Glenn Seaton from getting around him at the same time.
Glenn Seaton has constantly been in the 61-second category. They're heading down the main straightaway. Yet again, they go across the strike. It is Bauer, Lowndes, Seaton,
There's
and
Wayne
Gardner.
Yep.
The battle a little bit further back. There's Peter Brock, who was leading the race. Mark Scaife, one behind him. Neil Crompton in the Coca-Cola Commodore. And Alan Jones, pack leader racing, their touring car debut. 3 Castrol cars, the Longhurst, Ingle and Perkins entries.
Meanwhile, Glenn Seaton here giving Channel 7 viewers a perfect view of the action. Lowndes just moved over to cover his tracks a little bit there, and I believe the drivers too, Bradley, are a bit concerned about these tyres that are very close to the rubbing strips on the S's there.
They are a bit concerned. They're all chained together, so they're worried if they hit one, they'll drag them all along the road with them.
So it's certainly keeping them disciplined through that part of the circuit. They said it'd be single file through there, and it's certainly proved that way so far. Craig Lowndes, is he just sitting here behind John Bowe ready to pounce?
I don't think so.
Does he have no answer?
And he's certainly having heating problems as well.
So look at that. Lowndes jumps out of the draft behind John Bowe. He's running in nice fresh air. Lowndes tries to drop the temperatures down a little bit. Seaton right up behind the Mobile Commodore. 5 laps to go. We're 3/4 distance. Time running out for Craig Lowndes.
Time also running out for Glenn Seaton, and one guy who's made a miraculous recovery is Wayne Gardner. Seaton now looking right down the inside.
You know this little part of the circuit they're coming into now? You listen to Seaton's car? The engine revs die down there. What he's doing is he's short shifting the car. He's going from 2nd to 4th gear to try and keep the throttle on to get the power down to the ground so he can close in on Craig a little bit for this part of the circuit.
Glenn Seaton will want to be nice and gentle on the gears after last year, snapping a gear stick halfway through the second heat.
He's always been very quick here, Andy. A tremendous success rate for Seaton. Here's Tony Longhurst living into the pitch. You can hear, I think it was the front spoiler scraping on the concrete. Yeah, damage to the front of the Castrol Falcon. Not a good start to season 96 for Tony. His brand new Castrol Racing Falcon EF. Wheels coming off. So there's some front end damage here possibly. Meanwhile, back at the front, John Bowe still in control. 4 laps to go. Lowndes running out of options. The same too for Seaton. If you were running in 3rd position here, Bradley, where would you be looking to overtake? I guess this is the only opportunity now to turn 2.
Almost anywhere, I'd say. It's a very difficult thing. Glenn's starting to get aggressive. I think he's going to hit that thing in a minute.
You think it might be a bit of a tap on?
I think that things are going to get a bit desperate. To top it off, you've got the Coca-Cola car closing in as well, so it's going to become a 4-way dice in a minute.
If any of these guys looked in the rear vision mirror, they'd be able to see the whites of the eyes and the driver right behind them. There is not much separating the leading 4 cars.
Tremendous racing here from the V8s. Keep in mind too, last year before Bathurst, they trimmed 200mm from the front spoiler under tray on the front of the Falcons, and they were confident that it had closed the parity gap. And certainly looking at this racing, this bumper to bumper run amongst the top 5 is just fantastic.
Gardner is the fastest car on the circuit at the moment, so he's certainly making inroads.
So you can see there on back of race cam with Glenn Seaton's car. Gardner closing the gap, 3 laps to go. So Bowe in control. Lowndes still in 2nd. Looks like Seaton's powerless to do anything in 3rd. Gardner now coming back toward the last few laps of the race. 3 laps to go. Hard under brakes. Glenn Seaton has a look down the inside of Craig Lowndes' Commodore. Boy, he's getting close there, Brad.
Yep, he's touching him. And Bowe's just showing us why he is the champion. I mean, controlling the race beautifully from the front. Hasn't put a foot wrong. Certainly isn't in the fastest car out there at the moment, but winning the race.
Well, he really is a guy at the height of his powers, isn't he? We saw this all through last year. Tremendous pressure driving when there's enormous pressure to defend his lead. And he's done it immaculately. He's doing it here again this year. You're seeing a driver at the absolute peak of his career, John Bowe.
And the parity between the cars is quite good. Forget for a second they're all on different tyres. We've got a Ford, Holden, and there's certainly nothing between the 4 of them.
Well, Holden guys trying to level up the score in the V8 war. 2 laps to go. It's currently running at 2-1 in Ford's favour. Big year for Holden. And big year for this man, Wayne Gardner. 2 years in the tough V8 circuit. They haven't won around yet, the Coca-Cola team, and they're very confident this year that they can change that and get up onto the podium. Let's hope so. Wayne Gardner in 4th position. Bowe, Lowndes and Seaton ahead of him. Well, following each other around here, I think it's going to be a bit of a desperate or a bit of a tap if there's going to be any change of positions here, Brad.
Well, yes, I think you're right. It's certainly going to have to be a bit of push and shove, I think, to get by. The only passing move is at turn 2, and they just, they all run around the inside there, so they're going to have to duck and weave and maybe tickle one another up to get by.
Well, look at the amount of ground Gardner's made up on here. He dropped back into the 63 and a half second bracket. Oh, someone's got a wheel off in the dust. Desperate stuff there. But Gardner's come right back into the 62s. It's almost like he's resuscitated the tyres and come back into the battle.
Which is unusual. Dunlops aren't traditionally like that. But it's exactly what's happened. They've done a lot of work on the car over the summer, and it's working perfectly at the moment.
Last lap as we take race cam at the back of Glenn Seaton's Falcon. There's Wayne Gardner closing in. It's getting tight at the top. This leading quartet. They've got Peter Brock back in 5th, Skaith in 6th, then it's Crompton, Jones, Ingle and Perkins. That's the top 10. Less than 2.8 kilometres to go as they head down toward turn 2 for the final time. Gardner gets a little bit closer under brakes. You can hear Seaton working back through the gears, flame belching from the exhaust of the Coca-Cola Chevy. Very close here, but as we've seen on previous laps, Brad, Rudy's going to take someone else to make a mistake.
Well, it definitely is. I don't think John Bowe has too much to worry about from here on in. He just keep his nose clean at the front and pick up the first race.
And the big question then will be, you can win one heat, then you've got another 2 to go a bit later in the day, and of course later on this evening. Tyres are going to be critical in that final race. Look at Lowndes. He's not giving up without a fight. Ducks out from behind the Shell 1 Falcon. But there's not a lot he can do. Bowe, masterful display here of defensive driving. Covering all the track that Lowndes needs to be. If he gets a nice clean run out of here, he's home. And let's see if Lowndes tries to make one desperate run. Get up behind the wing of the Shell Falcon. It's 4 in a row. The grandstand's at their feet. Lowndes looks to duck alongside. They're going mad, but Bowe has him covered by barely a car length. Fantastic race, the opening heat of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship for 1996. Well, fabulous bit of racing there. John Bowe picking up where he left off in 95. Craig Lowndes, great run there in 2nd position. Glenn Seaton in 3rd. Wayne Gardner in 4th. And Peter Brock rounded out the 5. We'll be back with more action from the creek in just a moment.